Once upon a time, there was a boy named Rocco who lived in the kingdom of ditch plains by the sea. This is his story. Rocco's unique. He's very unique.
The first time that I brought Rocco into the ocean is a time that I'll never forget. He was just this little tiny boy. He had on this little hat. I took him in my hands and slowly walked into the water with him. And he was looking up, right up at me. And we slowly went into the water. As I walked in more and more and the water was passing over him, I could see that his eyes were getting smaller and smaller, and I thought he was falling asleep. What I realized was that he's not really falling asleep at all. He seemed to be in this meditative state, totally at peace, and I almost could feel it going through me, how calm he was and how calm it was making me feel. And that was his first day on the ocean. We had no idea that he was autistic at that time. I married this beautiful yogi wife. She had my beautiful son in a water birth in our apartment, and everything about it was magical. But when he was around 2 years old, my whole life changed. Your son is autistic. This was nothing that I ever could have possibly imagined for myself.
I felt like I had the wind knocked out of me, and I didn't know what the future held.
As we realized that he's autistic, all of us in the family became involved. We were reading books, trying to figure out what to do, what kind of help to get, looking online.
When that diagnosis happened, didn't really feel the intensity of what this was going to be or how real that word autism is.
You need to get up. You need to be brave. Go out there again and catch a new... Where's the wave? Yeah. Rocco's condition is a dual diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder, which shows up in delays with cognitive ability, but mostly with his language. This is the boy. Are you a boy? Yeah. And the boy is? He's happy. Are you happy? Yeah. You said, yeah. Okay. He also has another diagnosis of apraxia, which is a motor planning issue. His brain, for example, can think of all the words he wants to say, but they come out garbled or sounding like approximations of words rather than words themselves.
Purple, orange, blue, blue.
His brain knows what he wants to say, and his body isn't always able to oblige. You said spells? Very good. The biggest differences between Rocco and a typical 9-year-old in the way that he perceives the world and interacts with the world is that at first glance, it might seem like he's not really interested. I'm over here. It's the dog. You said. The dog, he says. When in actuality he is, he just can't express that interest with words. He can escalate when he is attempting to communicate something and it's not coming through. Finish. Count them. How many fishies? You can do it. Count them. Then you're done. Ready? That's so disheartening as a parent because you always want your child to feel understood and cared for. Did you do great? You say, I did. I'm over here. I did. Great. Hip hip. Hooray. Give me a boom.
You feel so angry in the beginning. And you say, why did this happen to me? This isn't supposed to happen to me. You know, what's the meaning of this whole thing?
Admitting that your life will never be normal the way you thought is incredibly difficult. It's a grieving process, and it took Ben and I time to grieve.
Ben was totally devastated, but eventually he started to realize how he could be helpful to Rocco.
This really great teacher of his at the time said to me, you know what, Ben? You have to ask yourself this question. Either you live in fear or you live in faith. And the more that I had this thing of not being in fear of him, not looking at him as who is my son going to be 20 years from now, but who I am with him right now, and really believing in what he could become and enjoying the process. That's when things really started to go to the next level. I really started to look to things like the ocean and think of a whole epic journey that we could take together. Time and time again, the ocean has just been this incredibly healing place for me.
It's really easy to forget that we live on a water planet. It's mostly covered with water. We're mostly made of water. Most of life on planet Earth is in the water. And so it makes sense that when we're near or in or on or underwater, we're in our happy place. We're in the best place we can be.
I wanted my son to just be happy as possible. I wanted my son to have as good a life as possible. He's my son. He can't be that different than me. I always dreamed when I had a son to have a surfing son. Why can't I have that? Why is he not that person anymore? He's still that person. He's just gonna be his own type of surfer, a different type of surfer. He's gonna be Rocco, the autistic surfer. I brought him out on a surfboard. Total disaster. Total absolute disaster. Didn't want to be on the board, flailing. Get me off the board, get me off the board. Okay, maybe not the surfboard just yet. Let's think smaller. So I said, what about a boogie board? Put him on the boogie board. He said, okay, he's okay on the boogie board. How can I have it where he can really ride a wave with me? So I put flippers on my feet, held the boogie board, paddled into the wave, and without me saying anything, he goes and he grabs my hair and he stands up just like this, holding it. And I'm thinking, okay, don't ruin the moment. Just go with this. Just go with this. We did it. We rode a wave together. We look as ridiculous as possible. Rocco pulling my frickin' hair out for about 2 years straight as we rode waves together in our own unique way. Could we take this even to the next step? And I remembered that surfboard. Let's go back to the surfboard, Rocco. It's the same board that this kid wanted nothing to do with earlier on. This was the same person. This is the same board, but now it's a totally different thing. So I turned the board, I started to paddle for that wave, and boom, I just remember the wave hitting us, me grabbing Rocco. I'm thinking like, oh my God, what did I do? He's gonna be crying, he's gonna be so pissed. I ruined the moment, I ruined the magical first real surfboard wave moment. And the thing is, Rocco loved being wiped out. He loved that first wipe out. We got back on the board, turned around, took a wave. I got on my knees on the board, picked him up, and got him up on his legs, and here he was, just like this. And we just went straight in, and he did it. And he did it again and again and again. It's that faith, man. It's that faith over fear. You just keep pushing through. You have to believe. I just believed in Rocco to be the super cool surfer that I felt that he was. I started then to say, I wonder, would he stand up by himself? What if I just told him to stand up? This was like maybe the 20th time, got on the wave, up, 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 me just hitting the board, up, 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 and the kid stood up, man. Never forget it. Couldn't even believe it. Could not even believe it. And it just felt so good. I remember someone coming up to me and saying, do you think that he'll ever stand up on his own, without you telling him to stand up? The sun was setting, and so many times in my life, it's funny, it's like things are supposed to be a certain way and then they don't happen. But this moment, we got on the wave. I said nothing. I said nothing to him. I had been telling my son exactly what to do in my own unique way for so long. I didn't say anything, and he stood up by himself. Oh, man. He stood up by himself, and I just remember shouting out, yes! I just felt so happy. That was the first time that he stood up by himself. There you go. You're in the ocean now. Go. Turn it. Turn it. Turn it. Wow. This whole journey is really a team effort, and so much of that is what happens in the home before we ever hit the beach. There's so much stuff that no one really sees behind the scenes. More? Good. That cognitive work that we do there
Where's the number 3?
with puzzles and matching and trying to develop speech is so important.
I want a break. Okay, take a break. Go ahead. That was good. It's really about helping the child to want to connect with you.
You're okay. You're okay. We'll work through this together. You're okay. Up, 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 up. These activities help work his brain, help build his brain, so that when he gets to the beach, I call it him feeling super sharp, sharp as a tack. About that time, I started to look around and realize people were watching us.
Rocco and Ben are in the ocean in conditions when nobody else wants to be there.
Rock, you ready to have some fun? Yeah? Yeah. Here we go. As a special needs parent,
You want more food?
at times you feel very alone, that nobody in the world can relate to you, that you're in this all by yourself. But a really cool thing happened out here in Ditch Plains, Montauk.
Nice to see you guys. You too.
I realized that wasn't the case at all.
They put everything into that kid to make his day perfect. And people on the beach, it doesn't go unnoticed.
We sit there and just watch all day, look at this kid.
As soon as he steps onto the sand at Ditch, it's straight to the water, always.
Rocco crawls to the tippy top of the board at the end.
You see this little boy with no fear, and he just seems so comfortable. Everyone who comes to the beach is kind of astounded by it.
I call it the dance. It's because he kind of dances on that board. People are watching and thinking like, wow, man, this kid's having a great time.
We love to see him out there standing on that board, just rolling and being one with the ocean.
Not caring about how big the wave is, how rough it is.
Then out of nowhere, you just hear like, Rocco up, Rocco up.
Rocco up.
Rocco up! We're out there surfing and looking around. Rocco's up!
Then he just takes off and he rides the board all the way to the shore.
People have been watching us, and maybe they hadn't been saying anything to us up until then, but man, I just started to feel this whole community behind me. I wasn't alone out there.
It's music to your ears, man.
Rocco has such a pure love for the ocean. Maybe that's what was speaking to other people out there. He is experiencing every cell, every molecule of this thing, which is a gift.
In the water with the surfing, there's no need to speak. In fact, you really can't talk when you're swimming underwater. So it's a place where Rocco has all his abilities. There's nothing missing because he doesn't need actual speech. He speaks through the way he moves, the way he's trying to do things, his smiling, his laughing. That's his element.
When he takes a wave and stands up, he looks very excited. Can't really explain it, but happy and excited at the same time. It's really, really cool to watch him surf.
You know, we spend a lot of time trying to take the emotion out of our science. And what we're now realizing is that there is a science of emotion. When we break away and get to the water, things are simplified, much more coherent. You see and feel that shift into that mildly meditative state that is so different. We call that blue mind. Clinical research shows our heart rate slows down, our breathing rate slows down, we relax. Cortisol levels, stress hormones drop, and all the feel-good hormones increase. We connect better to ourselves and we connect better to each other. That's what I see going on with Rocco and his family and the entire community around them. It's that shared experience of blue mind. We all need to be like Rocco.
One of the most challenging but vital pieces of this puzzle as a parent is learning how to release the life you thought you were going to have so that you can embrace the life that is right in front of you. Rocco has taught me so much about being present. And the irony is I'm a yoga teacher. I teach people how to be present. He's shown me how to be present in a completely new way, in a more powerful way.
That's what I needed to work on. He had everything in him already. I needed to work on my presence.
People often ask, will Rocco go to college? Will he get married? And those questions really used to shake me because I had no idea what his future would look like. Now, I'm seeing that when he gets out of the water, he feels great about himself. And when you have that kind of confidence, you can face anything.
He's gonna be surfing like Mavericks by the time he's 20.
I look at that family and I'm amazed by their love and devotion. And I'm sure Rocco feels it.
I think it's just a good lesson for all of us to maybe take a risk and do some things that we think are beyond our capabilities, because they might not be.
This guy, who actually has always been a big supporter of my son, he said, you know, I think next year, I bet you we're gonna see Rocco take a wave by himself.
Special needs kids, it's not just needs, they have special gifts too. And when those gifts are unlocked, it's amazing. They have so much to share. Good stories change the world.